1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get the idea. 55 more seconds of me talking to you when you could be speaking to potential new customers. For only $5, you can permanently add your ad to this or one of our many other podcasts. That's every download, every stream, every live listen, everywhere in the world. All you need to do is visit us online at tomasianent.com. That's TOMASIANENT.com. And click on the services link at the top of the page. Check out our advertising opportunities and our other services as well, all starting at only $5. 51, 52, 53, 54. But you get the idea. Now get your message out there. Welcome. You're listening to Doopy Deep with Dr. Nikki. This is the place where witty, irreverent, opinionated perspective meets serious, fact-based discussion. Featuring our host, Dr. Nikki Coleman, and her co-host, Tomas Bell. You can also join in the discussion during our live tapings by following us on Spreaker.com. Now, the doctor is in. It's time to get doopy deep.
Hello, hello, hello. Do you know I was watching? Hello, I'm saying hello.
And I'm saying hello back to you.
So everybody should just know.
I was like, who exactly were you talking to right there? You realize you are the only person who could hear me. Dr. Nikki, we've been doing this for 3 seasons.
That's why I'm laughing. Like, oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a doopy deep with Dr. Nikki. First, it was Dr. Nikki who was not ready. She wasn't ready.
All I can say is I just hope that everybody that listens to us has the love in their heart to be able to deal with our our introductory shenanigans.
I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if I have the love in my heart for the foolishness you bring to the airwaves.
If I was tuning in for the first time, I might just be like, "Oh, this is some old bull," and switch off. So if you made that choice, I respect it. If you chose to stay with us,
but even if you don't listen live, please do subscribe and download. The Kikis are like wine; they get funnier with age.
They get better with time. Wine and cheese.
Oh yes, I don't know about cheese though. Don't cheese get moldy though?
They call it aged cheddar. I mean, it's aged.
I call that a really rough night in the restroom, but you know, difference of opinion. Difference of opinion.
Oh my gosh! Oh, so much silliness. This is Friday. Well, it's Friday here. For me, I don't know when you'll be listening in, but so much silliness this afternoon. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for joining us for the first time. If you are, thank you for enduring our goofiness as we tend to do. It wouldn't be a Doopy Deeps with Dr. Nikki podcast and her co-host. So my spell, I'll say it myself.
I'm sorry,
I
muted my mic
with
again.
Foolishness. Oh my God! I really want to do like a hard do-over for this.
For season 4, we got to work on our cues. We got to get these cues together because you got to be like, okay, I'm going to call you. Da-da-da. I need a drum roll or so. Oh, that's right. I'm supposed to be manning the boards. I got to do my own drum roll. All right, I'll work it out.
You figure that out so we can get some better like communication happening here. Anywho, just for additional flavor, let everybody know that just as a reminder, I am recording this in my lovely home here in Houston, Texas. And today, because it is good old summertime, my little one is here. So I have bribed her, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I've bribed her with all the hot Takis she can eat, all the TV she wants to watch, and all the popsicles that she wants to eat downstairs.
Hot Taki craze America is on. What is happening with this country?
I don't know. My baby loves a hot Taki. I mean, it is like when I told her, hey, listen, I have to do my podcast, and I really, really would appreciate if you would let me do it. I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible today, but it'd be really nice if you let me go upstairs and do it and not interrupt me. And I said, I will let you eat all the hot Takis you want to eat if you stay downstairs. And like it was like Christmas. It was like this glisten came into her eyes and she was like, I can have all the hot Takis. And I said, yes, you can just eat all the hot Takis.
I had someone offer me a hot Taki a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, why is this person being lewd? Like, that is really, I'm not in these streets like that for you to offer me your hot Taki, sir. I do not know you. Like, what is, I am married. Like, how and he pulled out a bag, and I was like, there's those things everyone are eating. No, I don't know. I can't do that.
It's a thing. I don't even like the smell of them. Like, every time I open the bag, I'm like, whoa, so gross. She loves them so much so that sometimes, which is particularly gross, but we're already going there, she just licks the flavor off of the actual chip, and then there'll be like a pile of like moistish licked chips over on the side where she just licked the flavor off.
Something ain't right. Tell you that right now.
I'm convinced there's an addictive.
They putting some sort of additive in that.
It is. Yeah. It is. So the best that I can do is I buy one bag a week and I try to dole them out a little bit every day. Because she really will like pure gluttony. So I say all that to say, I mean, it's a little bit related to our actual topic today, but also, if you hear a little voice, she sounds quite adorable. She has lots of opinions about things. So we might have an unexpected special guest to come in on today's podcast. So that was the whole point of me sharing all of that information about her. So if we could just get into it, what I wanted to do today is spend a little bit of time talking about body image. I think I would even say like body politics, right? And this is something that came up for me. It's something that's on my mind a lot. I will talk specifically from my own, like personal challenges that I've had long-standing challenges with having a positive body image. But for me also, I think in the past several years, that what that means for me and how that shows up in my life has become more salient for me because I am raising a daughter. And so me trying to reconcile kind of my intellectual knowledge and my psychological well-being knowledge with my lived experience and then what I'm modeling for my daughter has become, it takes up a good bit of psychic energy for me. I spend a lot of time thinking about this stuff. And since something happened just this week with her that I was talking to Tomas about that I thought was really telling and also affirming in some way. And so I was like, well, you know what? I think we should talk about that on this week's podcast. So just to be clear, when I talk about body image, what I mean by that is it references an individual's subjective picture in their mind that they have of their body. So it's not the same thing as an objective measure of your height, your weight, even your proportion measurements or any of those things. But it's really about how you individually perceive your body. Do you think that you're thin? Do you think that you're overweight? Do you think you're fat? Do you think you're curvy? And are you happy with those things? Is the other layer that comes along to it. So it's not so much about body image, because I think we all walk around with a distorted body image. But the challenge comes in like, how do you perceive that? Do you perceive that positively or do you perceive that negatively? And does that perception have meaningful impact on how you think about yourself and your worth and value as a person? Does your body image perception correlate or have any connection to your overall worth and value as an individual? And I think that for a lot of folks, there's struggle to sometimes separate those pieces out and to not let one's body image overshadow your whole sense of worth and value in the world. So that's what I want to talk a little bit about today. And I know, I'm sure you have to deal with this a lot, Tomas, in some of the areas in your life when you are working with clients, when you're doing, your yoga and Pilates and all of that other wonderful fitness stuff, physical well-being stuff that you do out in the world.
It's interesting. What I find is, and I'm trying to, as you were talking, I was trying to think of the right way to say this. So my worlds intersect between entertainment and fitness, less health and well-being work now and more entertainment at this point, sort of come full circle in that. However, what you find, you would assume, I know how I want to say it, you would assume that there would be greater issues in that world of working with people doing yoga, doing Pilates, right? The reality is it's fairly consistent regardless of the industry, because I walk into singer-songwriter spaces where people, and unfortunately, a lot of times it's disproportionately women who are dealing with these issues. And it's not to say that men don't have body dysmorphia and all these various different body image issues, because we do. But it's more, how do I put it? Not more obvious, but more out there when it comes down to women, because oftentimes people will talk about it. And I don't mean the women speaking about it, but people speaking about the women. Why did she wear that dress? What is she doing with her hair? Why is this like that? And you find that in all these spaces. I took a yoga class last weekend, and someone said about another lady there, she is too big to be in the front of the room. And I thought it was interesting because they obviously didn't know the teacher who was going to teach. And they obviously didn't know that the person they were talking about was the teacher. And then this woman, who happened to be a black woman, started doing her thing. And the person next to me really just like, I just can't keep, I don't understand how they could do, because people have this concept of what it means to have a, quote, yoga body and to be able to do physical fitness. And so you see a large black woman standing at the front of the room who hasn't identified herself as the instructor yet, because she's waiting for people to come in, and you just start coming out your face. One, not knowing you could have been talking to someone. I could have been her sister, her brother, her husband. You don't know who I am either. But people feel empowered to do that,
Yes. And I think that's the part that's, so I want to highlight this one piece that you mentioned, and I want to, so two pieces. One, I think we hear women talk about this more because, more so than men, because of this other piece that you're talking about, which is objectification. And really this idea that women, as a collective, are more likely to be objectified in our society. So that means that we don't look at them as an individual being. We look at them as an object, and we have expectations that are societally dictated, culturally dictated about what that object should look like. And what happens is that becomes so ingrained in our socialization that even as women, we start to self-objectify. And so it is how we, and this is why I used the term politics earlier. So it's really, women oftentimes do a lot more of the policing, if you will, about the rules around what's acceptable in terms of how a body should look, what's attractive, what's desirable, oftentimes more frequently than men do, at least more explicitly. So to that point of your story from yoga, I was leaving Costco a few weeks ago, and I'm strolling my basket out. It's 135 degrees. My directive is to get from the store of air conditioning to my car air conditioning as quickly as possible. So I'm not really paying attention. But this woman in front of me that I know not, she is stranger to me. Excuse me. She says to me, "Oh, I guess that's how we're doing it now. Is that the new look?" And I said, "Excuse me?" I'm looking what is happening? Why are you talking to me? And what are you referencing? And she then points to this other woman that's walking further along